Hello. That means we're live.
I think we're live. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining to this premiere live signing with the one and only Kristian Nairn.
That's me.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
I've been mentioning to you even yesterday and today when we met, just like it is such an accomplishment to say you are a published author.
Yeah, I still don't think of myself that way, but I don't really think of myself as an actor or a DJ either. I just do it.
But you are.
Apparently I am. But here we are in New York.
Yes. For the launch of his debut book.
Yep.
Beyond the Throne.
I mean, it's nice as New York to put on the security and stuff for me,
yes.
like all this extra. It might be for the UN, but I really feel it's for me.
He was a bit late because the UN General Assembly is happening. So but we're here. We're very happy to celebrate this accomplishment with you.
I'm very happy to be here. So and thank you guys. Thank you guys if you bought the book. And I'm really, really grateful. So thank you.
If anyone still hasn't purchased a copy, feel free to go to signbeyondthethrone.com, and then you could put the code Thrones15 and you get 15% off a signed copy of Beyond the Throne. So make sure you head over to that link. Kristian and I will definitely be very, very happy if you do.
Yes,
but let's start the questions.
Yeah.
I always like to start whenever I talk to authors. Obviously, besides the cover, one of the first things that jump out to people is the title. So I want to ask you about the title. Like, what does Beyond the Throne mean to you?
Yeah, we actually agonized over the title for a while. There was many different versions, and most involving doors.
Makes sense.
I mean, much as I love doors, and I am an expert on doors, I could probably go work.
You are.
I could go and work in Home Depot probably. No to doors, actually. No more doors for me. Only different doors. But yeah, it had to be about the throne because I wanted to join two groups of people together, really. People who have known my work from Game of Thrones, and then I wanted those people to see that I've had quite a weird life. Then obviously there's Our Flag Means Death people. There's a chapter in there about Our Flag Means Death because they're just the most amazing group of fans and the most dedicated people I've ever met in my entire life. So hello. And the title, and it's really, I wanted it to be more than the throne because it's my whole life.
Yes.
So it's not just my whole time. I didn't. There was a talk of behind the throne, beside the throne, maybe underneath the throne. I don't know. But beyond. Feels like I'm expanding rather than retracting, and I am expanding. So hopefully not physically, but in a metaphysical way, even. So that's why we came to be honest.
That's great. No, I'm
going to sign my first one, by the way.
I always wonder that. And while you're signing, I know, I read the book, obviously, and I know you dedicated the book to your mom.
Yeah.
And your mom plays such a pivotal role in not just your story, but your upbringing.
Yeah.
Could you please just let the audience know just how your mom has shaped your life and why you consider her such an important character and person in not just your story, but also your life?
Wow. I mean, how could she's not even in the past tense, present tense. My mom still is a very important part of my life. She lives with me, and she's still my rock, really. Honestly, I'm not ashamed to say that. She's my friend.
Yeah,
she's like a friend as well, and that goes with some downsides as well. She's not afraid to tell me things that are real.
Yeah.
I mean, she's definitely the person I go to when I feel I'm having hot air blown up my armpit. She's the one who will cut through. And who else could I dedicate it to? And all the stuff in there about my mum. She was behind me sharing it because it's a huge part of who I am. The way she turned out and the way I have obviously been influenced by that. So I couldn't tell my story without telling a little bit of hers.
Yeah, and she's always been very supportive. Yeah. Any undertaking you set yourself to. A lot of people don't really have that support. And
no, I know, and I'm so grateful for that. Yeah. I really
especially her being a single mom too. She had to play two roles in order to make sure.
Well, I did have a very great grandmother too. My grandmother was a really cool lady too. So I had these amazing women role models in my life, and I still got my mom. So I'm clinging on to that as hard as I can.
That's great. That's great. So Candace from Texas, she did ask us, is there anything you put in your book that you're nervous to people to know? Obviously, writing a memoir, you're basically figuratively an open book.
Yeah.
And so was there anything in the writing process that you're like, oh, maybe I should leave this out. I don't want to portray this person in such light. I don't know how they'll take it. Like, what was that sort of like task for you?
Well, if anyone comes across as a dick in the book, I would firstly say, don't be a dick. That's probably...
Hey, honesty, this is what we have here. It's all
I'm
honest.
just saying, don't be a dick. But it's not a hit piece. This is not a hit piece. It's not like, oh my God, what did Lena Headey, like, did she, I don't know, steal somebody's wallet?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like that. I didn't have that experience in Game of Thrones. I had a wonderful experience in Game of Thrones, and I wanted people to know that. And it was a wonderful group of people. So really the only person I was nervous about was my mum, because it goes so deep.
Yeah.
And I just had to make sure it was respectful.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only person I worried about. Don't make me think about this too hard, because is it too late? No, I don't think. I hope that no one feels that way, because I don't feel that way about them.
No, that's fair. That's fair. And
yeah,
it's also it's your story.
It's my
it's
story.
Your perspective, and everyone has their own side of the story, and you're telling your story.
Oh,
so
yeah, everyone has their own. You're welcome to write a book and tell me what a dick I am. Oh dear.
And then we have Sarah from Illinois. She actually asked a question that I'm going to tie into an experience you actually had earlier today. But she's asking, what's been the biggest pinch me moment in your career?
In my career?
Your career, but I feel like you should also share what happened this morning.
Yeah, that's pretty up there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty up there. Actually, well, we were in the studios of the network, which I can't remember. New York
NBC,
Live, NBC, and New York Live this morning, which was awesome. Kenny G was there, who's, I don't know if you know, because I've actually told quite a lot of my friends, and they're kind of like, who's Kenny G? And really?
How do you not know?
I know. Maybe I'm a person of a certain age now, and that's absolutely fine. But Kenny G is like probably the most famous saxophonist in the world.
That's the only one I know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know other ones. I mean, Lisa Simpson.
Yes, I told her that. I told my Carrot colleague.
I don't know.
I told her later. I'm like, there's only two people I know, Lisa Simpson and
yeah, I mean, there's Timmy Capello. He used to play a saxophone for, this is a real tangent, saxophone for Tina Turner, and he was also in Lost Boys. He was a famous saxophonist. That's a great word to say. But Kenny G, he was on the show, and he started to play. I think he saw Game of Thrones mentioned on the auto cue, and he started to play the Game of Thrones theme
on the spot.
And I was like, no shit.
Yeah.
So I put my head around the camera, and he lost it. Like, he was like, no way. So we did the proper version, and it's just a trip.
Yeah.
By the way, he made that up on the spot. You were there. You know this.
Yeah.
He didn't practice this. He just
he said he had never played the Game of Thrones theme, and him being such an acute musician, that he has the ability to just on the spot do that.
But that's not the biggest moment. I mean, the Megadeth thing for me.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kenny.
Sorry, Kenny.
But Megadeth, when I got to play guitar with Megadeth,
wow.
I mean, it's probably not the biggest thing I've done, but for me, it's definitely the biggest thing. Yeah. I was like, my 14-year-old self was fully in presence in the room. He was there, and he was freaking out.
I was gonna say, it's just like you've come so far in your career, and you've reached a certain status, even if you don't want to admit it. You have reached a certain status, and just being amongst peers that sort of like respect the work you do, and having that validation. It's just like, again, you look back at your life, and you're like, how is this 14-year-old right here, right now?
That's exactly what it was. Yeah, I really was like, I could feel them in there, going, this is really freaky. How did you get here?
Yeah.
What I mean? And it was a trip. I'd love to do it again someday. Hi, Megadeth. I'd love to do it again someday.
But that actually, that pivots right into my next question, because, in your story, you do mention from time to time how you would try to like make yourself look smaller, whether that's in a physical sense, like hunching over, or just staying quiet, just to not cause, bring attention towards you. But you did find through characters, such as your drag persona, Revvlon, and Hodor, you found your voice within those characters, and eventually they led you to find your own unique your voice as Kristian. So can you explain to us just like how those two characters alter egos, if you can call them, how they helped you sort of like reach that milestone?
Interesting question. You've really upped your game.
I did my research.
My God. Right. Obviously, Hodor and Revvlon are like probably the two opposites of the scale.
Yes.
And there's me in the middle somewhere. But they're basically who I needed at the time. Revvlon was the FU that I needed to do. Oh my God. We talked about this before, by the way. It was the rebellion to the world that I needed to do at the time, just to get myself out of my shell. That was Revvlon. And Hodor, I think, was me honoring my quietness and shyness that I had when I was a teenager, and I had to work through. So I kind of called back to that and used that as part of the character. So really, you can still have your shyness. I'm still shy. Like I said this in probably all the interviews. I was like, "What scares you?" And this scares me. But the things that scare you are the things that will propel you forward.
Exactly.
So that's why I'm here.
Yeah, no,
that's honestly, what I do, and that's kind of addictive as well. I think I might be a bit of an adrenaline junkie, and when I get nervous, I think I might kind of enjoy it. I don't know. Maybe I need to get some therapy. After that, I'll get back to you about that. But I think I'm addicted to it. I also say I'm addicted to expressing myself, which I'm sorry, guys, you're gonna have to put up with it. I will continue to express myself. I'll probably find different ways to do it, even. But sorry.
That's another thing. You're also unapologetically gay.
Yeah.
And you make that
what have I got to apologize for?
Exactly. No, but you make that very clear in the book. And you have such an affection for the LGBTQ community. Like, it's so important. It really comes across in the story that without that community, like, where would you have end up? Because when you started in Belfast, there's basically a non-existent scene.
Not really, no.
And you helped grow that scene in a certain extent.
I guess it did. I don't know if everyone in the chat will say, no, he didn't. But my question, I guess it did. I worked, when the bar called Kremlin, which is obviously weird now. The bar is called Kremlin. I used to work in Belfast, and when it first opened, it was the first dedicated gay venue, really, owned by gay owners, certainly. There was one before, actually, the Parliament. Hi, guys. I'm not going to lie about that. And there's the Crow's Nest too, but the first proper big gay club and just
owned by gay
drag
people too, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they were advertising for like I've never seen people advertising for. I'm going to forget the question, by the way.
No worries, all good.
But they were advertising for DJs, drag queens, and stuff in the local paper in Belfast. And I remember that's what really turned me on to it. I was like, this is really daring, and they have supported me. The gay community have supported me over the years. They've given me a living over the years for the biggest part of my life. And I do want to give back to them, and I want to represent them in a positive way. I also want the world to know that we don't have anything to apologize for.
Yes.
And seriously, at this stage, do we really? Yeah, we do, though. Yeah. We still do, sadly.
And I also feel like it's, growing up, like I wish I would have had like, these very like prominent LGBTQ figures that I could look up to. And I feel like you sharing your story, because it's not obviously Hodor is his own character in itself. So your personal life is not really showcased to the extent in a show that encompasses so many different characters, so many different storylines. So by you sharing this story, like, whoever is a Game of Thrones fans, and, be it like Game of Thrones fans that have like gay content, and which was really, really good. But, having that sort of connection with such a lovable character and knowing that he's on your side, he's rooting for you. Like, I feel like that's really going to connect to readers who are fans.
Yeah, and also we're just there. I mean, we are just there, and even in Our Flag Means Death. I mean, that's what was wonderful about that show. Like, we just exist. We're not the gay character. It's not the gay relationship.
Yeah.
It's just there, and that's just the way life is.
No, and honestly, like I personally, I didn't know of your identity prior to like working on this book, and when I did find out, I'm like, oh my god, like that's another reason to love this character, love Kristian. Like it's just like, it's not your whole identity, it's just a part of it.
Yeah. So it's a part of everyone's. I mean, it's just sexuality is such a small part of a person.
Exactly.
It's only the world that forces us to push it forward, I think. You're the ones who have a problem.
Yeah, no, true. People, it's 2024, so let's get on with it.
So
I wanted to slightly pivot to how you got into DJing. Grant from Minnesota asked you like what sort of like brought you into like the music scene, and what's the difference between like your passion for music, acting, writing?
it's the same.
Same.
It's the same.
Yeah.
The passion's the same. And I've realized this a lot recently because I'm really juggling at the minute, different things. And music was really how I learned to communicate when I was a kid. My mum threw me at a piano basically when I was 3 years old. And just
Here, play.
Yeah. Which I'm really grateful for, because it's a wonderful foundational instrument towards any other instrument.
Yeah.
But even I can't really express what I feel about music. Honestly, I don't want to sound twee about this, but even when I'm sitting in my hotel room, I just get so inspired. Even 48 years old, I still hear things as like for the first time. And it's the same for even pieces of acting. I can just see like a small 5-minute scene, and that will just really inspire me for weeks. And the same with a poem, the same with a book. I just find inspiration in other people's creativity, and isn't that why we're here?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm still a fan of things as well, and but music, it really hits me right in the heart very quick.
Would you say music sort of like encompasses your top passion if you were to rank it, or are they all equal?
Can't rank it.
You can't. Yeah,
I can't rank
it's different. If different forms of expressions, right? So
it is, no,
it's the same.
I feel the same. I mean, I used to say it was like Britney Spears being in the zone, but we're not in the 90s, guys. Well, I'd love to be in the 90s, but we're not.
Hey, the 90s are making a comeback. If you've seen Gen Z fashion, you know it's making a comeback.
Oh God, please don't.
So how do you cope with fame? You know, we witnessed earlier when you were like doing your interviews, like you know, you got sort of like hoarded in with like lots of people wanting pictures and autographs. Does it ever get to a point where you're like, how like me really like me like
always.
How do you cope with it? Like, is
I don't
it
know
ever
if I do cope with it.
No?
I mean, who really copes with it?
Is there like a special like PR training that people give you? Like, this is about to be big. Your life is about to change. Like,
I think my teacher would be very disappointed in me if I was trained in PR. I don't know. It's just something. I think we're lucky with Game of Thrones because it was kind of like a chain reaction. It's success. It didn't really take off anywhere apart from America, big time, because of networks and stuff. Because we didn't have HBO in the UK or Ireland. We had it on Sky Atlantic, I believe, and not everybody has that. So it took off in America. Then it started to take off in the UK, Brazil. They were the big countries, Spain as well, and then it just started to be everywhere after about season 3. So us first-time actors, which there's quite a few of in the show. We kind of grew.
Isaac was one of them too.
Yeah,
right?
no, I think he'd done one more thing before that, but we kind of grew into this, and we kind of learned on the job how to cope with it. But I was definitely never given any media training. I think it's fairly obvious.
No, you've done great. Like I've seen you in interviews, and you just you know what to say. So all good. Is there like a safe haven for you whenever you want to sort of like detach from, because you are in different aspects in the entertainment industry, whether like publishing or like your music or acting. Is there a place where you go to where they're like that's mentally or physically where you just like take a breather and sort of like recharge? Because you are an introvert. You've said you are an introvert.
Well, I mean, I'm an introverted extrovert. That's definitely what I am. But it's World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I mean, the minute I have signed this last book, what do you think I'm going to be? I'm not going to be like sitting in Cat's Deli doing a Harry Met Sally moment. I'm not going to be up the Empire State Building. I'm going to be sitting in a bedroom in a hotel playing Warcraft. And that's what I've done for a week when I haven't been working. You're judging me. There are people behind the camera judging me, but I don't care.
No, I am an avid gamer too. I have like almost 6,000 hours in just one game. Maybe that's minuscule to compare to you, but I know when.
What was it? Sorry, what game was it?
So I play Star Wars Battlefront, so it's multiplayer.
It's not like 1,000. Well, I'm going to say it's quite old, but then Warcraft is now like 20 years old.
So no, you've been playing longer than I have. So.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay, well, that's on you. I used to play Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Oh yes, I know that one.
Yeah, it's good.
So much fun. I'm obsessed with Star Wars. But pivoting slightly, Another sort of like big component of the book is, growing up during the Troubles in Northern Ireland, and how that's not under any circumstances a normal sort of like setting for anyone to be growing up with. So I'm just curious, like, how did that shape your viewing of the world, or like did it affect your relationships with people?
Well, the thing is, it was normal. And anybody here who's watching this from Northern Ireland, we all went through this together.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm special in any way. We all did this, and we all just got on with our life as best we could. And time where a lot of people were going through horrible tragedies on both sides, by the way. So yes, definitely shaped who I am. I mean, my sense of humor is dark, man, and that's kind of how we coped. I think it's how as Irish people we kind of coped. I can't speak for everybody, obviously, but yeah, it was hugely impactful on how I grew up. And yeah, we just got on with it, man. I actually saw a photograph of Belfast on my Facebook a few hours ago, and it reminded me how we couldn't get into the city centre. Guys, you remember this? We had massive steel gates, and the whole bus, like the coaches and buses, had to be all searched and your bags searched. You weren't allowed to go into the shopping area in case you blew it up. And then even when you got into the stores, everything was searched. Everyone remembers this. But yeah, we didn't think twice about it.
No.
It was just the way things were.
Is there, at least like I feel like had I been put in that situation, some sort of like collective trauma or PTSD, is that something that you feel like sort of like lingers with you with other people? Is it just past years like
it depends really how you were what happened to you during the Troubles. I mean, if you lost a family member, I mean, you would still be dealing with that every day of your life forever. But yeah, it did affect me in certain ways like that too. It's just a difficult thing.
And
it's still a difficult thing. Obviously, we've moved on and things are really great there now, but there's still issues. And I just hope for the future.
That's fair. That's fair. We love Northern Ireland. I've never been, but I've heard it's just a beautiful place.
I'm so proud to be from there.
You still live there, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't live anywhere else. I mean, I wouldn't mind a chalet in Aspen if anyone's offering. But
me too. Plus one, please.
But
just want to remind people, thanks again for joining. If you would like a signed copy of Beyond the Throne, you could head over to signbeyondthethrone.com. And if you put the promo code Throne15, you could get a 15% discount. I wanted to ask you also, what's your favorite memory from filming Game of Thrones? This is a question from Annie from Indiana.
So many memories.
A lot, yeah.
I always say that the final scene, and although it's a bit bleak.
That was such a good scene, though. Like I still cry when I watch it. I wanted to watch it before interviewing you, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna be in the emotional turmoil. that was a good scene.
But yeah, it's just that was the day I left the set as well. It was often things are filmed out of sequence chronologically, but this was on the last day, and it was also my 40th birthday.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, which I always say this is so Revvlon and so totally Game of Thrones. Like, kill him on his birthday. Just wait till then. We'll get him when it really hurts. But the last day, I think just being with all the crew and being with Isaac and his family, and that was a lovely, lovely memory. And
it was how many years that you spent time with Isaac, his family?
Well, there was 6 years on camera, and then there was a year's prep, maybe a year before. So we're talking 7 years of my life. Yeah. So.
And you still keep in contact?
Yeah. I only saw him last week. Yeah. So I saw him a few days here in New York, so we got to hang out.
That's great. That's great. We're gonna go and do a little speed round. I'm just gonna ask. It's 2 minutes, just very basic questions.
This is a danger zone.
No, I vetted them, and if you see me hesitate, I'm just gonna skip to the next one.
No, don't hesitate.
They're very PG, so no worries. So this one is very obvious. Obviously, we already talked about it. Where were you born?
Lisburn.
Yeah. Oh, so it's not Belfast.
No,
it's
Lisburn.
How far is Lisburn from Belfast?
It's kind of been. It's a separate city.
Yeah.
It's not really a city. It's a small town. It's a small city, big town, connected to Belfast, really.
Okay.
But it's just in the south. That's not quick fire.
Oh, sorry. I get really into the questions. I feel like I know a lot about you, but then you say these things, and it's like, I need more.
I know we've been in a relationship for how long? 2 days.
48 hours. But a year of you count since we connected.
Do you ever really know somebody? Do you?
You never know anyone until you've done a fast round question. So
No,
that's what I'm doing.
go.
Yeah.
Be fast.
Who would you want to play in a movie? Fictional or non-fictional?
I really wanted to play Tom Bombadil actually in Lord of the Rings, thanks to Amazon. But yeah, but it's actually Rory from Our Flag Means Death who's playing him, and he's done a really great job.
Nice.
So great job, Rory.
What was your first job?
A kitchen assistant.
I was a server.
Really? Yeah. I was catering, like doing all the stuff in the back.
That's cool. What chore do you hate doing? What chore? Like
chore?
Yeah.
Any chore?
Any chore. Same.
I don't like chores. Yeah, I'm not a tidy person, guys.
I hate making the bed.
I don't make the bed. I don't do things I don't want to do.
That's fair.
I don't. That's fair. I mean, I'm privileged to say that. You know, in the book, I talk about making my life fit myself. So I've kind of done that. It took me a long time.
Yeah.
I just don't do what I want to do. See the state of my bedroom.
What's your biggest fear?
Honestly,
we're going.
I'm only going to be real here, guys.
We're going deep.
Losing my mum.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the truth.
And you do talk. There's a chapter towards the end that you do talk about the scary situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
What makes you laugh the most?
I was going to say other people's misfortune.
Fair. No. It's that British humor.
Blackadder.
Yeah.
I love Blackadder. I love dark English humor.
Yeah.
I
lived in the UK for my master's, and the friends I made, I felt
that was
at
the
first.
Real answer. I'm so sorry. That was the real. Was the real answer. It was the real answer. I do laugh with other people's misfortune.
I had to get.
I laugh at my own misfortune too. Sorry.
I had to get used to British humor, and at first I'm like, why are they making fun of me? It's a different sense of humor. So
I remember I was at college in England. Listen to the book, guys. This is a little secret story. People just weren't used to my either accent or humor back then. And I remember my friend saying, I've just done a job interview. I don't think it went very well. And I just said, why would you even bother going anyway? Because like, you're not ever going to get a job. And I just remember it just being a tear. I was like, not everybody gets this. Not everybody gets this.
Yes.
Someone's saying, yes, you do. Oh, no. I'm not a terrible person. Kind of. Oh, well.
You're a person.
I'm a person.
So.
Yeah.
What is the one thing you need to have in your fridge at all times?
Orange juice.
Orange juice?
That's easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. What's your favorite school subject?
The school bell at the end of the day. I wasn't the school guy.
I feel that. Like I feel that.
Yeah, I hated it. So.
Who is the most interesting person besides myself that you met recently?
Okay. Myself in the mirror. I have to say Kenny G.
No, yes.
He did say recently.
No.
I did walk past Michael Bublé yesterday, and
yes,
then I kind of went, why didn't I take advantage of this? I do this all the time.
He did smile at us, though.
Sing me a Christmas song. Oh, please. Make it happen.
What's your middle name? Do you have a middle name?
That's topical, actually. I did not have a middle name.
I don't either.
But I do now.
Whoa, what is it?
It's Patrick, actually.
Oh.
I didn't have a middle name when I started the book. I now do. My mother and I were having a conversation, and she never said this before, and she said, I regret not giving you a middle name after your great grandfather, because I'm named after him. She's Patricia. She hates being called Patricia. Pat, sorry, Mum. And I was like, oh, hello, why don't we just do it now? I said, okay, do you want me to do it? So I'm now Kristian Patrick Nairn.
That has an easy flow, though.
Yeah, it's actually better than Kristian Nairn, because you've got that glottal thing in the
Nairn.
Yeah, it's terrible. Kristian Nairn. You have to take a breath.
Then one last question.
Yes.
What cause is dear to your heart?
What cause?
Yeah.
Well, homelessness, I think. I obviously, I will always support gay charities. I'll always support AIDS charities. They'll always be on my very high on my list, always.
Yeah.
But to support a charity that affects everybody in the world, I think homelessness is a big one. and I see it rising. I don't whatever reason.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever, we all know the reasons, but yeah, homelessness, I think, and also cancer, things like that. I like to sort of get this that everyone can benefit, but I also want to contribute towards gay and lesbians and bisexual and trans, all the alphabet charities, which I'm a part of. So yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks. Kristian Nairn, his book came out today. Again, debut author, Beyond the Throne, is available. And again,
it's also a chin rest.
two functions. But again, if you would like a signed copy, please make sure to log on to signbeyondthethrone.com. And if you put the code Throne15, you get a 15% off for the signed copy. Thank you again for joining us. Kristian, thank you so much for taking the time.
That was fun. Thank you.
Yeah, till next time, guys. Take care. It's been a pleasure.
Is it the manual one?